Howdy class, welcome to your next video lecture over algebraic representations. This video is for December the 13th. Today what we're going to learn about is balancing equations. The name of the exercise is value balance. So we have a set of scales here and we have an equation. Remember, an equation has an equal sign. So we have an equation on the left hand side that says 2x plus a positive 3 equals 9. So what we're going to learn how to do is model that using algebra tiles. As you can see on the board here, a rectangle that's colored green, it represents a positive x. A negative x is represented by a red rectangle. If you put those two together, they become a zero pair or they cancel each other out. And over on the right-hand side, you notice that a yellow square represents a positive number, and a red square represents a negative number. Again, those two are zero pair, and they cancel each other out. All right, so let's look at the pictorial model. Our equation is 2x plus 3 equals 9. So the x's are positive, so we're going to draw two green rectangles. And then we need a positive 3, so we need 3 yellow squares. And if you notice the dotted divided line, that is our equals. So on the other side of that, we need 9 yellow squares to represent a positive 9. And this symbolic model is the actual letters and numbers. So it would be 2x plus 3 equals 9. Now, the first thing we need to do is get all of our numbers on one side and all of our x's on one side. So if you can see, we have 2x plus 3 on one side and 9 on the other side. So what we're going to do is move the 3 to the other side. But in math, we have to do the same thing to both sides. So if we added 3 to the left, we need to subtract 3 so we can have 3 zero pair to take care of the 3 on that side. But we also need to subtract 3 from the right-hand side. So we're going to draw 3 red squares on both sides of the equals. As you can see, on the the left-hand side, the 3 yellow squares and the 3 red squares cancel each other out, and I'm left with 2 green x's. Over on the right-hand side, 3 of my yellow squares are canceled by my 3 red squares, so I have 3 zero pair over there. So going down to the next line, we bring down our 2 positive x's, and then we subtract on the the right-hand side, and we get 6 yellow squares. So now we have 2 positive x equals 6. So now we need to isolate the x. We just need to know what 1x is. So what we're going to do is divide each x in, we're going to divide each yellow box into groups with one green square. So 1 green x corresponds to 3 yellow boxes, and then the other green square corresponds to 3 yellow boxes. So it divides evenly into 3. So 1 positive x signified by a green rectangle is equivalent or equal to 3 yellow boxes, or a positive 3. Now we're going to look at the symbolic model. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to subtract 3 from both sides. And we get 2x on the left and 6 on the right. So now we need to divide both sides by 2 because we need 1x, not 2. The 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we get 1x. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And that's how you balance an equation using pictorial models and symbolic representation. So now we're going to describe our actions. So we're going to create a model for equation we're going to remove 3 positive from the left and the right. Then we're going to simplify both sides. Then we're going to divide both sides by 2. For groups of 2. Then we're going to simplify our answer on both sides again. Okay, now our check for solution. We got x equals 3, so we're going to replace the x in our equation with 3. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9. So we have 9 on the left, 9 on the right, and 9 does equal 9, so we know that that is a true solution to our equation. All right, class, be sure that you write all of this down in detail on your notes page. It will help you dramatically in the in-class exercise. I repeat, write this down. It is very important. As Ms. Charles says, mucho importante. All right, guys, if you look at the back of your notes page, we have a couple more. Number 1 says -2 equals x plus 4. So on the left-hand side, we're going to write -2 equals x plus 4. Using a pictorial model, that's -2 is 2 red squares. And then the equal side is the triangle on the bottom. And then on the right, we have 1 green x. Sorry. And 4 yellow squares. I get my colors right here before long. So now what we do is we need to move all of our numbers to one side and leave all of our x's on the other side. So since we have a positive x on the right, we're going to move the 4 yellow squares over to the left-hand side. And in math, if we need to move something, we do the opposite. So we need to add the opposite, which is add 4 negative squares or red squares to both sides. And then we simplify that. On the right-hand side, I have 4 0 pair, which equals 0. So I'll bring down my 1 green x. Over on the left-hand side, I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negative. So I have 6 red squares. And as you can see, I'm down to 1x on the right side, and I have just numbers on the left. So our pictorial model is complete. So x equals -6 in this case. Symbolic model, -2 equals x plus 4. We're going to subtract 4 from both sides. So we simplify again, we get -6 on the left and x on the right. Same thing we got on the pictorial model. So x does equal -6. So we're going to describe our actions again. This is important. If you're able to write down what you did, then you truly do understand. So we added -4 to both sides. Then we simplified both sides. We removed the 0 pair. And then we simplified our answer till we got x equals -6. And now check our solution. Remember, we're going to put our -6 in the place of x. So we get -2 on the left equals -6 plus 4. So -2 equals -2. That is a true and correct solution. Now I want you guys to practice at home. I want y'all to do number 2 on your own at home and bring it into class so Mr. Charles and Mr. Sawyer can make sure that you guys fully understand this. Again, you need to do number 2 at home on your own. Refer back to the one above it and also the one on the first page. And remember, the described actions, that's exactly what you do. That's very important. All right, class, that concludes the video for today. Be sure that you do number 2 on your own and bring that to class. If you have any questions, feel free to email us and we'll do our best to get back with you. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have fun. Mr. Sawyer and Miss Charles, out.